Greetings, I'm Laz.
And I am a sad scandal.
And let's play a game
together.
So we're about to hurt Corey, and we know this is what's going to happen. And the music is even telling us that's what's going to happen. And even though we don't know him and we've had awkward interactions with him, having a character that you've designed just for the sake of drama and so that you can create an artificial, like, emotional payoff, if you will, or try and drive for one, is not something I really endorse.
Well, it's also kind of like that thing. So for me, socially, it's like the big problem of let's have rape in the story because that's the only way we can think of to basically cause conflict.
And drama.
Someone's
going to physically and bodily steal you from someone else.
It's like, no.
Anyway.
Dragon Princess? Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer Princess.
Dragon Slayer Princess, whatever. You expect me to believe that you're supposed to marry a dragon prince. All because you have a weird birthmark?
Honestly, I'm with Buffy the Vampire Slayer with going, great, I'm part of the Herein Club. I had that thing removed.
Yes!
Which, in case you haven't seen the original movie of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that's what I'm referring to. I don't think they went with that same canon in the series.
No, I don't think they did.
Anyway, but, yeah, that's a lot to swallow, and apparently I just exposited all of that to you off-screen between episodes while everyone was standing there just letting me do it.
Literally, all we did was hit continue episode, it downloaded the material, and this is where we started.
So if you came from that episode to this episode, you've seen exactly what we've seen. And this is kind of impressive of just going, yep, apparently while everyone just stood there, we just vomited this all out to you. Like, Grandpa didn't try and intervene, he didn't try and help or anything like that.
Oh, they all stood there and looked magnificent and
waited.
Sort of like...
Even Phoenix wasn't impulsive or trying to help, of going, yeah, she's gonna marry me!
It'll be great!
It'll be so good, I'll love to marry her, we'll have a lot of fun!
Dylan sort of just like gently elbows him, going like, we're for the front.
We just shut the fuck up, and Rye's like, oh my god, I don't want to be part of this.
Rye's like,
I just don't even want to be a part of
Country
this.
road, take me home to the place where I belong. Cry, singing to the floor.
All because you have a weird birthmark. I had a hard time believing it too. I honestly still really haven't settled into it. What you've got to know is that they are standing there and I have no other explanation for them. And the fire magic was definitely a convincing thing, even though I reacted to it almost not at all.
Which is weird, actually. You're not really going to go through with it, are you?
I mean, if it's actually true and it's actually to save our entire realm from war against the dragon realm, I would think that that would be the appropriate thing to do with my life.
However, I don't have enough context or information, so in a lot of ways, we've got a lot of ground to cover. So I appreciate your hesitance because I have it too.
And I also appreciate that you want an answer of what I'm going to do right now, but I honestly don't know.
You don't even know these guys.
That's actually a good point, and I appreciate that point.
But also, again, what we're having here, so this is interesting. I keep coming sometimes going, yeah, you're right. But also, you've got to consider that socially speaking, what you've got is a romanticization of romance going on here. Again, you only get married. Like the thing we keep joking about with Phoenix and that I like that we keep going off about is going, you really do sometimes have cultures where going, it's completely acceptable and it's fine that you don't love someone.
That you don't love your wife, your husband, your official partner.
And in some cases, some people have said that it sometimes makes your relationship better because you're actually building a relationship. You're not trying to build through potentially what some people go, you're not building off of lust, which sometimes for some people go, it fades, and you don't understand what's going on.
Or you're not building off of basically something that is not understood. You're building off of something that is very understood. Partnerships, teamwork, good working relationships. You don't have to know someone well for an arranged marriage or a professional marriage at all. What you need to know is how well you will work with them.
Right.
And or what the boundaries are, what's expected of you.
And again, I'm not saying that we need to do this necessarily as a society or whatever else. However, it's a good thing to sometimes keep in mind for going, sometimes people really will. Like, if you guys have ever seen Pride and Prejudice, sometimes of going like, I got married to this person simply because I went, this person will give me good financial stability. I don't have to necessarily interact with them in ways that I'm not interested in. And also it can keep me in a comfortable life and also be okay. But the fact that also in that context, unfortunately, that character was making that decision because they literally had no other option. That's another thing to keep in mind as well.
She was confident that she would basically be an unfortunate spinster if she didn't choose to marry the girl's cousin.
A social outcast.
Like preacher cousin, I guess, who he was.
Yeah, Mr. Collins is basically their more or less their God, I keep thinking. Yeah, no. But I'm trying to think of the word. My brain keeps dropping what he is.
Parishioner or whatever?
Yeah, something like that. I'm
Anyway,
like,
I can't remember for title, but
yeah, you don't owe them anything. I'm not giving them my love. It would just literally be an alliance.
I don't owe them anything, but do I owe humanity anything?
Right?
If I'm the only one that can do this.
Right? And also going, if I believe that that is actually a thing that's going to happen.
If I believe this is true, and that somehow all of them are going to wage war on humanity, if I don't do this.
Right? For some fucking
For
reason.
a reason.
Yeah.
Then that the terms of the contract cannot be changed. You know what would be amazing? Someone writes this story, and if you actually dodge all three of them all the way through, you actually end up making a different political arrangement with Earth, and they all decide, like a Brave style,
right?
With Merida, that we all are going to do our own things, and we don't need this treaty to not hurt Earth.
Right? You can still work together, even though you're not married. Also, we have
generations of Earth people married into the dragons already, because we've been doing this for so long.
Right?
We should be good.
Right?
Anyway.
When is enough enough? I agree. There's nothing worse than being forced into doing something for the sake of duty.
Like you're doing with us. You look like, that face looks like
I think
he,
honestly, probably ran away, or he more or less went, I'm going to go on vacation for a while because I don't want to do this. And then he ended up running into us. He was drawn to us anyway because he went, holy shit, somebody's writing basically interesting fan fiction.
That connects to my world.
They're going like, this sounds so familiar. Who the hell are you?
And then he went, oh, damn.
I found you anyway.
And then when he runs into you and he sees the dragon birthmark exposed, he's like, son of a bitch. Sigh. Where I sound so serious all of a sudden. Where are his words coming from? For your information, this is a great honor for Small.
Fulfilling one's duty demonstrates a willingness to act for the greater good.
It does, actually. There are things about all of them that are actually appealing, and the three of them as a unit is very entertaining.
There's also, though, an interesting conundrum here of going, you're still, though, sustaining a system. What they're saying is that we are all victims of a larger overarching system that we cannot change or interact with. It's just fact. Money just exists for this reason, and that's it. Money isn't this artificial construct, this thing that we came to basically interchange with goods.
Or money is just a fact of reality.
Yep.
Going, this system is just a fact of reality. Someone had to set it up. It can be changed.
And this is even with this one going, so right now, even for me, where I'm like, you're bringing up a good point. You're actually, though, not going to the larger overhanging systemic problem. You are basically paying for what your ancestors put in place.
We're paying tribute to not have war over and over again.
For some freaking reason. Why are we doing this?
Why do they want to go to war with us if we don't pay this tribute?
Right?
What does it do for them?
And it's also like, why is that the one thing that stops you from going to war with us?
And what if it was basically a good faith agreement initially, we've made peace, but we need to make some kind of visible seal of it, and then it just continued on without really context?
What was that way that somebody talked about? I mentioned it to you. I was laughing my butt off when I was scrolling through Tumblr at one point of the thing of going, traditions are just, what was it again? Oh God.
They're just basically hand-me-downs from previous generation
or something like that.
But largely unexamined.
Yep.
All right.
What could be more noble?
What is your primary trait? Concerned with being noble and appropriate.
Dylan might be incredibly repressed. We don't know actually how many of these people are basically repressed going, this is my social obligation, this is the role I need to fill.
Here we go. Maybe he'll tell us why. Why this thing.
This arrangement is the only reason we've had peace with the dragons for so long.
And my friend, standing there going, you guys all believe this. This feels insane walking into this room.
I can understand your feelings, Small and Corey.
Hey, I love that the other characters actually talk to each other. Like, this is way less isolationist than I'm used to. Like, everyone's actually in the same room. Okay, I have never yet seen another dating game where you have 5 people that are involved in the dating experience stand together and talk to each other. Because even the Arcana hasn't done that yet. Even when you had all the courtiers in the room, they weren't all dateable options kind of thing. It was just 5 people standing in the room.
But they also didn't have any conversation.
They didn't really talk to each other. One of them talked to Nadia.
Yeah, right?
Anyway, this is interesting.
But you're young. You never experienced war and what it does to your family. I'm actually an ancient-ass motherfucker.
Actually, what you don't know is that the dragons are immortal, and so are the dragon slayers, and you're gonna meet the previous 10 generations of princesses that went off and married when you go. Oh, also, I've been here for 19 generations. It's fine. I fought in all the wars.
All the wars. I have. Even so, there must be better ways to preserve peace than this.
I mean, there could be. It's possible. And how does this preserve it?
Perhaps you should let Small decide for herself.
Can I decide the better ways to preserve peace? Do I get to do that?
Hang on. Except I'm also having a problem here going, Small is trying to decide. Small is asking questions. That is so dismissive, Dylan. I'm going, no, you in your own little isolated sphere. You should just decide when you don't have any information. I want help. That's not allowed.
I'm going, okay, but ask
Because then you'll be
questions?
influenced. Everything is influenced, you
Nerd.
peanut. There is no purely objective view on this.
You
like
frizzy toothbrush.
everyone going, oh, you're not objective when you're talking about this thing. You have to be purely objective. Everything's subjective.
He was talking to Corey.
I know.
Ah,
That's why I was like, damn you.
Right. This has nothing to do with you.
I'm her best friend.
As far as I can tell, my only friend.
I have every right to be concerned.
About her welfare, you actually do.
I don't care even if you are dragons.
Uh-oh. This could be bad.
This is bad.
I know, but I don't want my best friend fighting with the dragon
Hey
princess.
man, you are a good friend though, being like, screw you guys. You came over here with strange, basically, bullshit, and also going, you're not looking at your life. You're just saying you just need to follow. You just need to fall in line. This is your position in life.
I don't want my best friend fighting with 3 people that I have lumped together into the category of dragon princes and don't see as people.
Where Raya's going, okay.
Really
He's
tried
like,
to
honestly
separate
though,
himself.
yeah, but also at the same time too, unfortunately in that case, that's that thing of going, you kind of have some sort of privilege. Of him going, he's still attached.
He is.
Hasn't been removed from his princely position as far as we can tell based off of both Dylan and Phoenix.
He's also admitted it at this point, very based on the earlier party activities. But
He's
at the
like,
same time, it's just like, I'm not going fighting with Rai, Phoenix, and Dylan. I'm not seeing them as people. I'm seeing them as a unit of dragon princesses. All
Princesses.
men, all dragon princes.
Yes. And eventually the Dragon Princess will
Which
come
is
out
the
of
thing
nowhere.
is like, while I'm not saying that Small has to see them as separate people, that statement in her own mind is dismissive of dehumanizing them. You're not thinking of them as people trying to fulfill their goals and their, basically obligations as well, or being another part of a system. You're thinking of them as a unit of basically a thing you have to fight against.
It's an us versus them sort of
It is
thing.
a
It's an
very us
othering.
versus them. We've othered them really hard. I have to put a stop to this. I will do something funny, do something dramatic. What?
Oh god.
Really?
Okay, so I'm gonna get personal again. I hate crap like this. So one of the people that I dated previously, actually at one point when I was arguing with another individual, they figured the best way to stop us arguing was to basically pretend, and they did actually have problems with their heart, but they pretended to collapse like they had sometimes when they had heart problems. They did this actually every once in a while, and it was really frustrating.
Of going, I can't have this conversation, so
Or I don't
I'll
want
do
you to-
something dramatic. I don't want you to be upset, so I'll just diffuse it with something dramatic.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do something funny. So a lot of people, when they're panicking, do defer to nervous humor interruptions. Like some people laugh when they're nervous or uncomfortable, or they start behaving strangely like the class clown kind of thing. I'm so uncomfortable, I'm going to do something funny.
That actually used to be a very common behavior of mine. When I got
So-
extremely anxious or extremely, uncomfortable, I would start laughing or smiling. It really sucks,
It does.
actually.
And some people go, why are you laughing? And you're like, because I'm so uncomfortable, but I can't say that. I just laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to do something funny, and I'm also going to take it as if I didn't premeditate this, but I'm just sort of panicking and doing something funny to try and defuse the tension.
Ugh.
That's my, guys, this is supposed to be a party, so let's just party, okay? I bust out my best moves in front of everyone.
Right. Stop. Small. Please. Lady, are you all right? You look like you're having a seizure.
Aye, the concern is strong. I'm dancing. Remember that sound system that we didn't figure out? We just don't have any music. Hear the music in your heart, my friend. Oh, is that what you call it? I bet I could do that.
I'm sorry, Small. I know it's your birthday.
And everything's being shoved onto me right now on my birthday immediately, and not like you get time to think about this or process it or there's time. It's like decide immediately is how everyone's acting. Also, why the hell did they stitch your pocket right next to the button line of your shirt? It's distracting. It's not really how shirts usually shirt.
Maybe it's like a little snap.
I just
No, I know, but I'm saying like maybe it's a snap.
could be a snap shirt.
Yep.
But still, I'm just.
I mean,
like,
it still looks silly. Don't get me wrong.
if it snaps, you don't have this connecting snaps on this side.
No, it's still okay. Whatever. I was trying. Okay,
You're
I'm trying. But how can you celebrate knowing what you've just learned?
That doesn't make it not my birthday, and it doesn't mean that I can't put it off until later. You know
and
what?
I still have the opportunity to ask questions.
It's really important to take a huge piece of news and just sit on it for a while doing other things so that your brain can process it and respond to it rather than react. In fact, we try and do that with all of our comments, where if we see something that we don't really know what to say to right away, instead of just making something up, we just sit on it for a little bit and go, and together we're sort of consider, how do we really feel and think about this? And it's really good.
Seriously, we don't mean small any harm.
It's between us and her, anyway.
No, it's not. Actually, what does the rest of the world even think about this? Hi, we have one girl we're going to keep sacrificing to you guys for some freaking reason.
Only the Dragon Slayers organization, we assume they're organized, knows about this.
Right?
It's the Illuminati. It's the Dragonati.
The Dragonati.
You were wrong.
Perhaps
all along it was the Dragonati.
It would be best if you left.
Look, how about we all discuss this over some cake?
Please, it's still my damn birthday.
I just made my damn wish. We can all be civil, and I don't have to decide anything right this second as far as I know. Hello? Cake? Anyone? Please, I just showed 3 dragons how to bake a cake from a box. We could at least take a bite of it. But it's no good. They're too busy arguing to listen to me. Actually, it looks like they're all silently judging you stoically, and that your grandpa noped out, going, I don't have the,
I have no opinions in this regard!
And they're also like, we want to show you exactly how tall your friend is. It's important you know. I'm also just the level of, like, here's how far away they're standing from you. Here's how close they're standing to you.
It's entertaining. You're like, oh, it's a little, I don't know if it's immersive breaking or immersive, like,
It's a little bit, it's interesting. It's interesting anyways. It's different because in some of the other games we played, they really are always at exactly the same distance from you.
Right.
In their standard sprite. Like, always. Forget it. I need some air. Look, why don't you guys all talk it over and I'm going outside.
You're all talking about my life, my experiences, and I'm asking what I want.
I wish I could talk to my best friend about this as if he weren't involved in this. Because usually that's what I do. Whenever I have a problem, you know, when he's not drowning his own problems in alcohol, we just sit and talk. Some birthday this turned out to be. They do have a lot of backgrounds and illustrations in this game. Actually, there's a lot of different environments, even just in this one tiny experience.
It's very charming.
It is. I love the little flowers, though. They look almost like peonies?
Part of me is also going, I wonder if this studio basically is reusing, you know, from other games.
If we play enough games, we'll find out. They seem to have really different visual themes in their games, though, so you never know. Like,
honestly,
they may not.
There is actually that thing that some people have pointed out in regards to different studios. Different people going, what is the amount of work that your work is basically worth?
Okay.
So, like, you'll see that sometimes in regards to, like, anime, where people are going, like, God, the quality on this is so bad, but they churn out so much. And a lot of them actually, so if you know anything about the Japanese animation studios, like their policies overall, the industry, a lot of them get strongly underpaid, and it sucks. Like, you really have to consider people making fun of it, and it's like, you guys, they're not getting paid very well at all, and they usually
doing
have
their best. And also, it's a big risk. If you spend a lot of time and effort and money into a show and the show doesn't do well, that can tank your studio. But if you don't spend a lot of time and effort and money and you just bang it out really quickly, then you get one that does well occasionally and it supports everything.
Right, exactly.
Because sometimes people go, I know the animation's bad, but the story's so good. But you don't know which stories are going to be the story that's so good and hits that cultural nerve right in that moment.
Unlike a lot of, actually, though, I was going to say Western, basically shows where a lot of it is really, so they're, one of the big reasons also they're very different is that in Western shows, and I will say, again, mostly the United States as far as I know, so I apologize for using Western, it's just kind of the way that I've been taught to lingoize myself.
North American.
North American / United States, because I don't know how Canada works, honestly.
It's true.
So in the US, though, they usually actually count it off basically how popular the show is. And also one of the things they talk about in Japan is actually they make a lot of their money based off of products associated with the show.
Not the show itself.
Not the show
mostly
necessarily
merchandising.
itself. Because actually each show, I don't know if anybody really knows this, on average they actually tend to go, if this is your slot, this is your slot. If you don't produce for that slot, you lose that slot and you have no option to get it back. Unlike here,
your time slot on the TV. Anyway, unlike here,
where you really do just be like, this is your slot for your show, and if the show itself doesn't have a lot of views, they'll just replace it with another show because that whole thing is bought out by that company. Right. There's less, so it's
a
more
different kind of pressure and a different kind of experience.
Right.
I can't believe my life has changed so much overnight. And I just learned a bunch about animation studios. And you know what? I think in Canada, they probably just call it anime, eh?
In bed.
I mean, I guess it's flattering to have these guys in my life. I've never had this much interest from people that code as really socially valuable and that are literal princes, which I've been told is really valuable, and that my value as a, young woman is based on who wants me. So there's a lot to unpack here as far as my feelings of suddenly feeling valid, but also feeling completely dismissed in that you're just a bargaining chip for peace. But am I really going to let this peace pact ruin my future? And will it ruin my future? I don't even know what it's like over there or what's expected of me out of a marriage.
Right?
Can I keep writing? Do they have a writer's society there? Could I join something else and become an author there? Would it take my dreams away? I did still want a boy in my life.
Right.
Or a romantic partner of some kind.
Or again, like, what kind of examination have you actually done in regards to going, what do you want out of a relation? It's your grandpa, by the way, I know this.
You think?
Small.
Someone came looking for me? No,
Oh,
I was gonna say it's Rye. I was gonna say it's Rye.
Because I was like, your grandpa always,
Nope.
because your family always.
I was gonna guess Rye, because he's the one that's been trying to seem normal and supportive, more like a friend. He's been trying to actually friend you.
It's true.
I'm surprised when someone drops down right next to me, and that he managed to get away without everyone else going, no, but I'm the one entitled to go talk to her.
But that's the other reason why I thought it was the grandpa, because the grandpa wasn't involved in that.
And he would actually have room to go, I could go talk to my grandchild.
And Ryan was actually specifically arguing, which is why I wasn't including him. I'm like, I would think it was right, but I'm like, it has to be grandpa. But so, I guess I'm wrong.
Rye?
Sorry about all that. It's pretty crazy in there, huh?
And I'm guessing it's not going to ease up anytime soon either, because you guys are probably under a lot of pressure. Can we talk about the fact that you're a dragon prince and you're also a writer on Prodigy? Can you tell me how that balances?
Like, explain. America.
It would help me disconnect from the situation, but also feel like grounded a little bit of how my world could work with yours.
Uh-huh. I hope we didn't mean to upset you.
It's okay.
Except it's not.
It's just a lot to take in.
And everyone's having an experience on top of me, and I'm not allowed to have my own experience because everybody's basically taking my experience and making it their own, so I can't even have my own feelings.
And you need to process this right now and interact with this right now. And going, you know what? I might just need some time. Sometimes you just need some time. I still can't believe that I'm a dragon slayer princess and that I've never slayed a dragon in my whole life, nonetheless.
What does that mean socially?
What does that even mean? If I'm a dragon slayer, is that basically like part of an army? Or is that more like a contract killer for hire? How did all this work anyways? Am I an assassin princess?
That's inherited by genetics?
Genetically? Am I gonna be good at fighting if I try it? Do I have the natural ability to kill you just by touching you? Are you guys terrified of me because I could just kill you at the drop of a hat if you marry me? Is this a big risk for you?
Honestly, I never thought about it like that before, so I'm just gonna have to take your word for it, honey. Let me support you first. Hang on. I believe it.
I believe it. You could just kill us at a drop of a hat. I believe it.
I totally believe it.
I don't know if I think that's hot, terrifying, or just intriguing, but you know.
Hey! I mean, you're talented, tough, beautiful.
I'm a good runner.
I'm blushing again.
He thinks I'm beautiful? He already said I was really pretty. I really do have this attachment on wanting to be valuable visually to people. It's all I know about girls.
The protagonist of my next story is a lot like you.
Oh? What's the story about? Can I latch onto something I know that feels real? That would be great.
It's about a girl who falls in love with the dragon prince.
Are you just flirting with me, or were you actually gonna write that?
I was gonna write it like a creep. Actually. Because I would really say for me, I'm like, that would be immediately a ding. Great, it's about this, I have this fantasy, you need to understand, of like, us getting married, or I mean this person and me.
Actually, I know it sounds a little creepy, but it was kind of a fantasy version of my great-great-grandparents getting together. Oh, really?
Oh, really?
That's actually not so bad. Go ahead, tell me about it.
Sure. She is the heroine of the story. She saves the dragon prince from giving up on himself and on the world.
She sounds pretty amazing.
Is it?
That's your great-great-grandma? That's awesome.
Is he the one that actually, like, he's from that kingdom that actually gets to decide, or is the most aggressive one that's like, we just want to wreck all humans for some reason?
Right?
Like, that would be
He's
so
He's gonna be the one.
wangsty.
I was gonna say, he's also gonna be the one that's the, like, basically bait and switch of going,
Uh-huh.
I am the nice one. I'm the one who gets to know you. I'm actually the most aggressive, want to burn everything shitlord there is once you trust me. I've actually been angry with anime a few times and a couple of dating games that I've ever played on my own, where you're like, I will choose the nice one. And you as soon as you start on their dating path, they turn into an aggressive shitlord that is super controlling because they're like, but now I've got you in so I can do whatever I want. And you're like, oh my god, this is like that horrible movie that should never have been made, Mr. Wrong.
Right? Well, she is inspired by you, even though I didn't ever really know you, and I've only stalked your comments, and I really like the way you talk to people, and oh god, this is just sort of digging my own pit, isn't it?
You sound a little bit creepy now, but you sound like you're understanding why that was creepy, so that's a good step, honestly.
Good step. We're never dating.
Like, we're making progress, but
No.
Me? But I'm nothing special, really.
No, now we need validation.
Now we need validation. Well,
God damn it.
we are feeling insecure in this moment, so who knows?
Maybe not to yourself.
But to us, you're the most valuable thing in our entire life path.
But also
It's
because,
true.
socially speaking, we've been told that you're the most valuable thing ever. And the
Uh-huh.
thing is really, what makes someone valuable? Why is this thing valuable? Why are we even caring about it?
So remember how I went off about immortals and my ideas about bored immortals?
Right.
So I have a really strong bitch about value prospects and believing other people when they tell you that you are and why you are valuable. And my essay includes that any person telling you are the chosen one, you are the special one, you are the important one, it is based on their particular opinion of what is special, valuable, or important. It is also based on the context of what they are focusing on and what is important to them. While this is going on and you will be saving the world and preventing it from Dragon War,
Yep.
you could have a space overlord trying to take over the world. You could have Voldemort trying to, subvert it through wizarding. You could have every other possible world-destroying thing happening at the same time. But us, to this situation, makes us the most valuable thing ever. And if you got 8 of those protagonists together who all were the chosen one, the special one, they would realize that it was only in context of the one problem that the person who said they were the chosen one was trying to solve.
And honestly, in that end, it's also only perception.
It is perception of how I, the person choosing you, feels like this problem can or should be solved.
That one.
I have identified you as the potential solve to my problem based on my standards and how I think it can work.
Yep. Which sometimes,
There
is actually...
is no inherent value to any person in the way that is universal to everything.
Right.
There is inherent value to a person because people are inherently valuable,
yeah.
not because they provide a service or save the world or are important to you solving your damn problem.
That you started. You bitch.
Or that you dragged them into.
Right? But what I was going to say is actually, so I've really appreciated Harry Potter for that one little aside. So if nobody's actually read it, I apologize. But this is going to be kind of a spoiler for you. Within the series, there's actually brought out that basically, so Harry's the chosen one, except you find out that there was another child who was also born who fit the exact same descriptors basically of what makes the chosen one. And it really was literally Voldemort going, well, I'm going to pick between A or B, B being Neville Longbottom in this case. And so I decided to go after Harry instead of Neville. And that was the only thing.
And the chosen one was actually chosen in that same way, where somebody comes up to Jupiter, what's her last name?
Oh God, I don't
In
remember.
Jupiter Ascending.
Right.
And they go, you are the magical space princess that everything depends on, based on our current particular conflict and what we currently care about.
And also the fact that you literally hit the genetic lottery for looking like our dead mom. But that's another story
That's fine.
entirely. So
I was just say, and that's one of those things of just going, you're only important to that person because they have an idea of how you're going to be useful. And
Oh,
in this
God.
case, that actually was a really keen observation even though it wasn't exposited very thoroughly in the Harry Potter books of going, you are the chosen one because you were chosen. Not because there is an outside greater mystical force, but because a real down-to-earth human person chose you and thereby put you in this situation.
Oh, if you want to call, having weird magical non-feel, I'm so mad about that.
Voldemort can be a human person if he
No,
wants to. Oh.
I don't. No. I'm talking about the fact of the influence of what he now has because he has no feelings because of the love potion. Blah blah blah.
Don't
bullshit,
worry about
whatever.
that. That's another conversation.
But you are to me.
Gosh, I don't even know what to say to all of this at all.
Well, you could say yes to my next question. Please just marry me. Oh,
Okay,
God, you're
Rye,
really going to be trying
if
to
you
take
walked
advantage?
out here to isolate me so you could ask me if I would be with you, that's really inappropriate. And I thought you were kind of nice.
That is pretty crappy.
What's that?
May I name the character after you, Small?
Okay, that's actually better. That's better than I
Aw.
expected.
Oh,
But
thank
that's
God.
still weird. Still a
Still
little
a little
weird.
weird, but cute.
I give my name to Rye. I don't want to give my name. I
God, I don't know.
I feel like if I am a champion writer on Prodigy, or if I'm doing really well on Prodigy, and I was one of the only 2 contestants, we'll just ignore there's probably other contestants, one of very few contestants in the writing contest that we were recently just at that was the start of this whole kerfuffle, then it's gonna look really creepy to the readers if they read my fiction and his fiction, and he's suddenly writing me, his protagonist named after me.
However, I like to assume that Small is actually just our username.
Oh, okay, I can see that.
So going like, I will give you actually my real name,
Okay.
but I don't know why everybody then is running around calling us Small, so that's been my problem. But I'm really just like,
love that. I kind of love it. Small is my affectionate personal, no, the Small is my handle,
Uh-huh.
and everyone uses it because it's also very cute.
Uh-huh.
And they've been using it since I've been writing since I was 8, and I called myself Small, and everyone
I'm
went,
Small.
that's so cute.
You're
We'll
Small.
call
Hello,
you Small.
That's adorable.
All right, let's see what happens. Let's learn about the game from an outside perspective and see what happens if we give them our name. I want to find out if we can trust the writers.
All right, sure.
And as far as this goes, I don't know. Like, that is me. If I was Small myself, I don't know if I want to give my name to him in this enthusiastic, give my name to Rye, which is what that shows.
I mean,
do you want to not do it? Because we can not do it.
it's fine.
Are you sure? Okay.
I'm just gonna die inside like I always do because I don't trust these games.
I want to find out if we do have another real name.
I know we don't.
It's too bad.
I know we do not have
All right.
another name.
Are you kidding? Of course. Sure. Why not? Sounds like fun. Sounds adorable. I would love more protagonists named Small because, that's a little anachronistic.
Right?
You're my writing hero, Rye. I might not know anything else about you, and suddenly it's really weird to have you involved in all of this, but I really do love your fiction, and this is kind of a cool fangirl moment for me outside of the rest of this.
Right?
I'd be honored to give you my name.
Thank you, Small.
Just out of curiosity, in your story, do the main character and the Dragon Prince fall in love?
I mean, that's what he said.
I thought he said they get married or get together.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't mean they have to include love. She could be surprisingly aware in that moment. Let's just allow her the awareness of going, so they get married, but do they actually love each other? Because I really like the idea of love. And it is an idea, but I like it.
Yes. Everybody loves a good romance. And honestly, okay, so for me, socially, this is really cute in regards to, like, basically masculine ideals. Men can totally love romance. I get really tired of the stereotype of men going, it's a chick flick, or it's a romance thing, or it's a this. That's really, honestly, like, been extremely frustrating going, you guys?
So, my most recent ex, he is considered, how do I even put this tactfully? He would be your very standard sort of, strong masculine ideal in a lot of ways. He's successful in business. He's generally well put together. He has a strong sense of like hygiene and presentation and like eye contact. And he is in like management and leadership, etc. And he reads romance novels. He's read romance novels ever since he was young and forever and ever. And he reads even like crack fiction romance sometimes. And he also reads those like dime store romance novels. His mom is into it and they've read them like together, like shared them back and forth forever as a weird sort of family tradition. His grandpa, who has even more of a stronger like patriarchy, like running the family kind of feel to him, of that intimidating man kind of, feel, reads romance novels and did it with his daughter for years, who is, his grandmother. And this is a family tradition they have of reading these romance novels and sharing them back and forth and just kind of laughing about them, but also enjoying them. And so it is a thing that is not something you might expect from this type of person, but is totally there. I didn't know you were into writing love stories, right?
Well, I'm trying to be open to the idea. Darling,
Have you been sort of aromantic before this, or not really into anyone? Or have you been really put off by the idea of your whole life having to marry a stranger? And so you really had some aversion to romance?
Yeah, the latter.
Okay. I'm sorry you've had that pressure your whole life. Honestly, that sounds rough, especially if it was made really important and you were under this pressure of if I didn't like you or didn't choose you, you were kind of a failure.
Yeah,
Sounds
well, when you
terrible.
watch your entire, family line where everybody else is really super into each other, you sort of feel like you want that and that it's necessary and it's a part of your life, and you just kind of hope you get that too, and then it gets very frustrating when it's just like, well, it's going to happen anyway, or it needs to happen anyway, and you just kind of like, well, I feel dead inside.
I feel ya. Actually, in that moment, like I don't have that same experience, but I sympathize.
Well, I'm trying to be open to the idea, and,
You know, I'm writing a story about dragons too, like I always do. I get.
I guess we both got the same inspiration.
Do you have dreams about me the way I dream about your world? Rye smiles gently at me, causing my heart to beat a little quicker.
Because my heart goes,
Cause my heart, my heart.
ah!
You really know a lot about dragons.
Well, that's because I do a lot of research.
I have already decided you're a dragon, Rye.
It's okay,
It's
honey.
okay.
It's already really obvious for my writing.
Are you okay? What do you think of Phoenix and Dylan?
I'm sure they're good guys.
Do you guys know each other as far as kingdoms and policies are concerned at all? I mean, I'm not saying I know anything about politics, and a lot of young people don't know much about politics and spend most of their life being shafted by a system they don't get well introduced to. But, do you know anything about their kingdoms at all, really?
But right now, they've turned the situation into a stupid competition. Not that I haven't been joining it myself a little bit, because I still feel like I need to succeed, or...
Pressure.
Like, yeah. It's sad that they seem to care more about winning than about you.
You seem a little indignant there, but okay.
They don't realize that you're your own person.
I appreciate that.
A woman with your own hopes and dreams.
Is there writing in your kingdom?
Any man who wants to be with you should get to know the real you first.
Only if they want to be with me romantically, or if...
Though, honestly, at the same time, too, that makes me a little suspicious of going like, if I want to be with you, I gotta be your friend, so I need to get to apply enough friend juice
Like, he's
in order
feeling
to...
a little bit suspicious at this point.
I'm like, that... So
I'm
for
trying
me,
to
I'm
buy
like,
my way in.
that's actually a really common thing of people going like, well, if I need to get to this thing, I need to do all these... And like, you're not... I understand that gets iffy anyway in regards to language, and there is some ways to put that could be better than others of being like, yeah, you're being like, hey, if you want to be someone's friend, you should be nice to them.
And also,
kind of thing.
if you want to get involved with them, you should be their friend first.
Yeah, and being like, but there's sometimes where I feel like it gets sometimes pushed too aggressively, especially for men, of going like, the only way then that I can get to this thing is, or like get to the relationship is that I have to do this thing. It's not like, it's an obligation rather than being like, I actually find you would be interesting.
It's that pressure of obligation he was talking about. I am obligated to make you like me, and I have to do it in this way. This is the path to doing it.
Yeah, and then do their best to deserve you.
Wow. Thank you, Rye. That right now sounds very validating and in line with my incredibly youthful and somewhat sheltered beliefs. It's really sweet.
I just want to make sure you're okay, Small.
I appreciate that. Why do you care so hard about me? Can I ask that? What made you start liking me?
I'll protect you from them if I have to.
That sounds a little weird.
That sounds a little weird, honey.
But you're also acting like you're like my friend Corey right now. You're a little close.
Also, the thing though too, I'd be like, I think potentially maybe a better option would have been to say like, I'm here if you need me for anything.
I will support you if things become challenging.
Right?
If I can.
Not being like, I will be a wall in between you and them. That doesn't solve your problem, nor does it give you enough information. It tends, again, to isolate you more.
It does. You mean you're worried about me? I'm worried about me. Sweat. Well.
You know what? We should get back to the party. I mean, the yelling matches. I mean, the cake. How about the cake?
Could you eat some cake? That would make me feel better. I did make it.
We all made it. I would love to eat it with you, the cake that we all made together.
I had to teach all of you how to crack an egg.
It was wild.
It was amazing. We spent a lot of time picking out the eggshell, really.
And all of a sudden, I think for 5 seconds, Dylan about had a heart attack because he went, egg!
On the other hand, it's really great that you all seemed like people for a few minutes, and eating that cake might remind me of that moment, you know? Instead of just some weird obligation.
You are the birthday girl, after all.
Rye takes my hand, pulling me to my feet.
We sat down.
Yeah, he came out and plopped down beside us. We were sitting out here. We were sitting on the curb, and he plopped down beside us. He apparently stood up, and now is pulling us to our feet. Either that or he's sitting next to us, grabs our hand, and drags us both to our feet, which I've had done before, and it's kind of funny because it's sometimes really awkward.
You're always like, I'm like, it's so tropey. Like, there's something about that gesture. You're like, let's go together. And you're like, God.
Kai avoids my gaze as he leads the way. Does he keep holding my hand, or do you just take my hand to stand me up?
Also,
That's
I'm
the
like,
important
you're
difference.
watching him while you're walking instead of watching where you're walking?
It's fine.
I'm fine.
What's gotten into him? I don't know him really at all, but I feel like I know him based on the parasocial relationship developed by reading his stories and reading his comments and his fan base. Where's Corey? Wouldn't we have seen him leave if he walked past us out there? You know?
Or do we go out in the back? He was too upset, so he left.
I should probably text him, because that might be an easier way through the space of time to respond between one question and another to help him process things and maybe have a good conversation with my friend. Meeting Phoenix and Dylan must have been a big shock. Wait, are we really going now? It's 2 dragon princes instead of 3? We did say 3.
We did say 3.
We literally said 3.
Yeah, I know we're dropping Rye because Rye is our
back and
homeboy
forth
again.
We've decided that he's not a part of it. He is a part of it. He's not a part of it. The suspicion is strong in our head, but we're waffling.
Waffles.
That's how it was for me too, so I had to leave. I'll talk to him once he's cooled down. Once I've cooled down too.
Yes, he is a nice boy.
Is he a dragon slayer?
That would be terrible. Very impulsive, though. He's
think?
a lot like Phoenix. In fact, I think they were about ready this close to making out at one point. It was interesting.
So you're saying that if Phoenix were actually into me, he and I might get along well because he's like my best friend?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
I don't know if that's helpful or discouraging, Grandpa.
It's just frustrating.
He's just looking out for me, like I would do for him if he suddenly had to choose between 3 dragon princesses. Grandpa. All right. Listen, real quick.
All right, go ahead.
Are you sure he's not your boyfriend, Small? No, I don't have a boyfriend.
Good. Surely, you realize you're as good as engaged now?
Hey, I haven't agreed to anything yet. Although I do realize that I'm as good as engaged to any one of you, so I'm theoretically engaged to a non-chosen choice.
Assuming that I actually agree with the policies that are being told
You
that
know what?
have to exist.
Dragon war on the world! Let it burn! I want to learn how to fight. I don't actually want to kill people, but I'm curious about my ancestry, which I know nothing about. And this seems like a good way to have it happen. I'm gonna call this, and you're gonna try and call my bluff, and we're gonna see what happens.
We're gonna fight, and it'll be great.
Fight. I haven't agreed to anything yet. Anyway, enough talk about marriage. I'm dying for some cake.
God, well, so this sounds like a good time to stop, and honestly, thank you guys for joining us. I have been Scandal, but I also have a request for you. If you've actually been enjoying our content, we would love to continue doing this. However, also, this is gonna sound awkward, but if you guys really want to like just jaunty over and check out our Patreon, it'd be super cool. We don't really actually have any like tiers set up. Like you can really just donate whatever you want. We don't really feel like we want to, but if you guys have suggestions for maybe things that we could do in regards to our Patreon, like for whether it's like, hey, we suggest you play this game or do that, that would be super cool.
So we're gonna pitch our Patreon here and say we would actually like to do this kind of performative analysis style activity as more of a living.
Right.
Because it's super fun. It's really great engaging with people in this way through a separate media, the art form, and it'd be cool if that were sustainable. Right now, we're making it work, but ultimately we could put more time and attention to it, do more thoughtful things, do more premium games if we had some support.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, also, if you wouldn't mind sharing our stuff, because that would also help, then we could potentially monetize through YouTube. So that would be super cool.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. And I have been Liz.
So, it was great playing with you.
Bye!